The most common way of propagating woody plants is by cuttings. Softwood cuttings like this hydrangea will probably root the fastest. You can tell the softwood cuttings because the youngest leaves have not fully expanded and the stems are soft and would snap easily if bent. The three most important things to remember when propagating plants from cuttings is 1. Minimize water loss, 2. Prevent disease, and 3. Encourage root formation. First, make sure that your plant is well hydrated. You can water it the night before. Take the cuttings in the morning before it gets hot. When you take the cuttings, if you're not going to stick them immediately, place them in a glass of water to hold them until you're ready. The medium we're going to use is moisture retentive. This is a standard potting mix. It does not have any added fertilizer. It has no soil in it. It's made with peat moss, perlite, and a little vermiculite. This will retain moisture but also drain very well. This oak leaf hydrangea, we're going to remove all the big leaves and just leave the smallest ones on top, and we might even take off one of those. And that's going to be enough for the plant to still perform photosynthesis. We want the cutting to be 4 to 6 inches long. We're going to cut it here. And because we're not quite ready to plant them yet, we're going to just hold them in this glass of water. So here's a cutting that has a flower on it. Now you know that a lot of moisture goes into this flower and a lot of energy. So we definitely want to take this flower off. We're going to cut off leaves, cut the remaining leaves down, and hold it in a cup of water. Now before we stick our cuttings, poke holes into our moist potting mix. And the reason we want to do that is when we have dipped ends of our cuttings in the rooting hormone, we don't want it to scrape off in the soil. The second most important thing we need to do is make sure that we prevent disease. So we want to use a sterile potting mix, and we want to make sure that the plant that you're using is healthy. So if the plant is growing well in your garden, you should be fine. Also, make sure that your cutting tools are clean. The pots that you're using are clean. That will help cut down any risk of disease. Now we want to talk about encouraging root formation by using a synthetic Oxen. This is a naturally occurring plant hormone that encourages root growth. We do want to wear protective gloves because it's a chemical. I've taken this hormone and I put it in a little tiny cup because after we're done, we're going to discard this. We don't want to put it back into the container and contaminate it. We want to take our cuttings one at a time. Dip the moist end into the powder, tap off the excess, and then just stick the cutting in the hole you've made. You want to plant the cuttings about a third of their height. Now we're going to take this whole tray and we're going to place it inside its own little propagation chamber, which is just a Ziploc bag. I want to keep the bag from resting against the leaves. So I've got these bamboo skewers, and I'm just going to stick them in the corners, and that should keep a nice open area there. The bag will help maintain the moisture and keep humidity up. We want to keep the moisture constant in there, but not sitting in water. You don't want it soggy. Keep this out of direct sunlight or you'll create a heat chamber and probably cook all your cuttings. And it's going to depend on the variety of plant, the time of year, the temperature, how long it's going to take these plants to root. Once the plants are well rooted, you can replant them in a larger container. We don't recommend that you plant it directly in the landscape. They're just too tender at that point. Hope we enjoy this way to propagate your favorite woody plants.